I now invite Jim Zubic to render his address. Jim Zubic, please.
Howdy all. About 15 minutes ago, I bet the clapping would have been a bit louder. Quite a few people have left, and I guess it's because they know that I'm talking. So, okay, and also a lot of the things that I was going to say have already been said by many of the people that have been up on the stage. But let me just start by saying a few things that I've read in papers and what I've heard at the conference already. Massive commissions are being paid. There are rapacious agents stealing students from prestigious public institutions, education agents acting as a Ponzi scheme. They're destroying the integrity of the sector. They're bribing and stealing students. They're driven by kickbacks, discounts and incentives. Time to prune the tree, to save the tree. So, we all know who we're talking about. We know that there are some dodgy agents out there. Nishi, I like the picture with the apples. I think there's probably less rotten apples in that picture. There's quite a few there. But the context... Sorry, that's me pressing the keyboard here. Sorry. And it's rotten apples. But the context here that a lot of people don't understand our industry, and what's going to be remembered by many people that don't understand the industry, but that's a good logo, is that agents are greedy, thieving, unscrupulous, dodgy, and this is not a good image for the agent network in general, obviously. And the unfortunate side of things is that we do not see positive messages of agents in the media, because the majority of the agents are actually doing good work, and there is obviously an opportunity to do that. So what I'll do is I will go through the brief that I was given by Nishi. Nishi said, just get up there and talk about some of the issues that you come across. I work at Monash University. My role is mostly agent management. And a lot of the time I do agent investigation. And then I put together a review panel, and then we look at what's going on, and we make a decision, and we undertake corrective action or something similar or something worse. So I guess I'd like to say that it's not all bad, because I probably wouldn't have a job if there weren't dodgy agents. So this is what happens when you work in governance. But I do want to stress that the majority of agents are good agents, and they are very ethical, and that is what I'm seeing with this particular association. Now, in terms of my journey at the university, I've been with the university 30 odd years, and the sorts of things that I've come across is things like, this is coming through the agent network, but we discover these things. It's impersonation of applicants, false representation, non-GT facilitation, which you're all aware of, theft in cases, redirecting tuition fees, pretending to seek refunds, applicant poaching from point of application right through, fraudulent document facilitation, breaches of agreement, data privacy breaches, applicant coercion. Normally when we're doing an investigation, sometimes the people that we need to speak to may be put under pressure not to speak to us. False and misleading information, withholding student contact information. And recently there are increasing cases of students looking for things where the agent has actually miscounselled them. And they're going to use that as their effort to transfer out in their first 6 months. But most of the investigations that I've conducted indicate that sub-agent Sometimes even our agents are not even aware that there is a sub-agent involved. Some agents are now getting pretty clever in that they are actually pretending they're getting paid by the student as well. And they are going through, and the agents themselves, if they are not doing in-person checks, if they're only doing online recruiting, they're not going to even know who they're dealing with. And that's a big issue. So I'm not a fan of sub-agents. I haven't been. I think those who basically recruit for us would know that I'm not keen. Our agreement says don't use sub-agents unless approved to do so. We're okay in terms of leads, and I think that's an AAERI position as well, which is a referral is okay, but all the services need to be undertaken by the agency. And there's a good reason for that, and it comes down to accountability. And we don't, if we're dealing with unknown parties, the only people who can be held accountable are our agents. And I do like the issue that you put the high five thing in the thing, and that's a big issue with aggregators and also with other agents, is that the National Code really only requires our agents to terminate the relationship with sub-agents or staff, and then they can just go out and just keep dealing with sub-agents, and that's an issue. So I'm not going to go into that again because I think Nishi's covered that quite well. In terms of aggregators, I also agree. I haven't seen an aggregator model yet that can actually manage those sub-agents well enough, I think. We have around 220 odd agents, 1,200 officers, 6,000 odd agent staff out there. And I just don't understand how an aggregator that has about 1,500 or 5,000 sub-agents can actually manage those agents and know what they're doing and what they're saying to those students. So I haven't seen it, and I'm open-minded, but not yet. So in terms of improvements, rather than saying, agents, this is what you should do, maybe this is just some advice for AAERI for consideration. I think it's a good idea to maintain a watching brief on similar associations that play the middleman. Brokers, mortgage brokers is a good one, and there was a Royal Commission into the banking industry. The interesting thing is they came out and stated that their mortgage brokers were bound by this in principle document that they had to follow. But also the Royal Commission made recommendations that should be the person that is applying for the loan should be the ones paying the commission, and that didn't go through. So that's the equivalent of, for example, your students being the ones paying the commission, not the institution. And it didn't work. It was rejected. But the interesting thing there is still that they are holding mortgage brokers accountable to this principles-based interest duty, which is very similar to the Agent Code of Ethics. Our issue with the Agent Code of Ethics is that the National Code only requires knowledge of it rather than adherence to. And I think there is probably some work to be done to go through that and see what should probably be in the National Code versus what should be recommended. So that's that. The other thing is I'm glad that you're talking about self-regulation. I think Phil actually mentioned that also in one of the presentations. There's always a danger when government introduces more regulation, because I'm actually on the end that has to implement things. And so I'm on the operational end. So it's like, how's it going to work? What do I do with the agent agreements and these sorts of things? But at the end of the day, if there's a self-regulation system and that's you have your own ombudsman, and ideally, if you've got some people in there that can ensure transparency so that no one can say there's a conflict of interest, that your panel is made up of agents that may be in competition with the people that you're actually looking at, that would be recommended, I would think. Alignment of standards should be something that you should consider, and that is ensuring that that all your members are doing a certain thing. It could well be that agents and there is an agent-student agreement that is undertaken with all your agents. Self-auditing and certain expectations and services, and obviously, even agreeing to a particular type of training that all your staff should actually go through. I know your website actually mentions, I think you've got some training references in there, but maybe that should be mandated as well through your association. So in terms of commissions, there are going to be some questions there in terms of commissions down the track. I think AAERI should probably start thinking about things, should start probably thinking about developing a position on certain items. In terms of visa changes, I think you're on top of it. To be honest, most of the changes that have actually occurred now are through your lobbying. And so this just goes to show the power of this particular association. I think there's a lot more you can do in terms of uplifting your brand. I would like to think that every student that comes into an agency in India should ask whether they're actually an AAERI member. I think that should be the first and prime question that they ask. Your logo should be front and foremost. It should be something that they all recognise. So that'd be something to work towards. I think going global is another thing. I think you've got an example of an association that needs to be rolled out to other countries and possibly as a global association. I know that you've been in talks with ECAR in Australia, but you've got an excellent model, and I think you need to grow your power base, to be honest. So another idea possibly is the creation of a round table. I know that you've met with Julian Hill. I think it's a great thing that you've done. But wouldn't it be great to actually have some representatives of institutions, government, and yourselves in the same room to talk through issues, and at least be aware and try to have almost like a think tank. It'd be a great thing, I think. I'm going to finish up now, to be honest. I just want to congratulate you all on your successes, especially to see you all in this room is an indicator of your success, to be honest. You're here in Australia, you're at a conference, you're doing the right thing, and I think that should be celebrated. So as Nishi knows, I've made myself available to the association whenever they need to speak to an institution. I hope that other institutions also come forward. So the more dialogue there is, the better the outcome. And so I'd like to thank you, Nishi, thank you very much, and also Ravi, your predecessor as well. Thank you all. And I think that's it. Yeah.